Well. Thank you for joining me this evening. It's been a relatively calm and successful primary election today in Pennsylvania. The Department of State maintains a year-round voter hotline, and on primary election day, we track the calls we receive. These calls vary widely, from reports of polling places opening a few minutes late to people who have experienced what they believe to be intimidation at their polling location. In 2020, on the last presidential primary day, the Department of State staff received approximately 3,600 calls to the voter hotline. In 2020, on primary day for the midterm election, we handled approximately 1,100 calls. Today, we handled approximately 600. That is not an insignificant number, but it is a significant decrease, one that we believe demonstrates that Pennsylvania's voters overwhelmingly encountered an improved voting experience this year. What I really want to do tonight is highlight and thank the hundreds of county election officials and the approximately 45,000 workers who made democracy possible today in the Commonwealth. Because of them, Pennsylvanians were able to cast their vote at more than 9,000 polling places across our 67 counties, and working a more than 13-hour day with minimal isolated issues. Because of them, the Commonwealth yet again held a free, fair, safe, and secure election. It is a testament to the dedication and preparation of our local election officials, many of whom I've had the pleasure of meeting during my statewide county visits, that today went so smoothly. As I've discussed many times, there's been significant turnover among county election workers since 2020. These workers left for a number of reasons, including planned retirements. But the threat environment that election administrators have faced over the last several years has certainly contributed to some leaving. The Shapiro administration has been committed to helping all election directors, new and experienced alike, receive the interactive assistance they needed to administer a successful 2024 primary election. To do that, the department created an election directors training team led by an experienced former county election director. Since 2023, that team has held 23 training sessions on 11 topics. Just one of those trainings on ballot building and testing drew 166 participants over 2 sessions. But the department did not help these election directors all by itself. Both Tim Benyo, Lehigh County's election director, and Thad Hall, Mercer County's election director, were key leaders in the Eastern and Western County Election Directors Conference, respectively. And of course, in many counties, new staff stepped up in their new roles with determination. For example, in Greene County, the new election director, Joe Limley, and new clerk, Dan Kennedy, took full advantage of the new training program. They attended every online training session, watched videos of previous sessions, and read every job aid and directive to help them prepare. Joe, who used to be a high school principal, and Dan administered Greene County's elections seamlessly today. And in Luzerne County, former Deputy Director Emily Cook, who was recently promoted to interim director, who I've had the pleasure of meeting, also adapted very well to her increased responsibilities. It is not an easy job, even for experienced election directors. With a successful primary day behind us, election workers in all 67 counties now undertake the task of counting votes. I urge you to be patient. This work takes time. Registered Pennsylvania voters requested more than 895,000 mail-in ballots and absentee ballots for this primary. As of 8 p.m., counties were reporting at least 75% of those ballots had been returned. That would not include the ones returned late in the day. It's important to remember that counties could not even begin processing or opening those mail ballots until 7 a.m. today. and that the last of them were received only about an hour or so ago. While we all want to know the results as soon as possible, county election officials' first priority is to accurately count every eligible vote and to do so with integrity. You can find the latest unofficial results, as counties submit them, on our Department of State's website, electionreturns.pa.gov. As you see the results come in, please remember, all results are unofficial until certification happens a few weeks from now, and increases in vote tallies in the coming days are to be expected as absentees and provisionals are counted. Finally, I want to thank our partners in local, state, and federal government who worked hard to ensure the safety and security of this election. Our partnership with them is instrumental to our success and to support our county election officials and poll workers on the ground as they succeeded in their mission today. And finally, I want to thank all Pennsylvania voters who took the time to vote in this primary election. We won't be having an 11 p.m. press conference, so I'd be happy to take your questions now. Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, a couple of questions, and I would like to ask about the mail-in written dates, but just really quickly, I think if there have been, are you aware of any court cases today or any polling places that were not functioning or had to close down for significant periods of time?
Given the number of polling places, you do sometimes encounter polling places that open late. A janitor oversleeps, or a street is torn up the night before because of a water main break. So those things do happen. There was absolutely nothing out of the ordinary today in terms of polling places opening late. No inordinate number in any one county for any one reason.
And similarly about the issues we've had with paper and anything like that crop up today?
No.
Okay, on the mail-in dates, the issue about the voters are being prompted on the envelope to write in 24, 20, and then the two boxes. There have been some reporting, and I think VoteBeat a couple of days ago about that. Can you say anything about the scope of that problem? How many, do you have a sense of how many votes may be affected by it? And do you think that is there any chance that you may redesign the ballot again before the fall in light of this?
Well, after every election, we connect with our county partners to discuss their experiences. The ballots, as they're returned, the ballot envelopes, the part completed by the voter, where they sign it and date it, that gets updated in the SURE system, in the voter registration system, to track voter activity. So it's not until really all of that is completed that we'll have a clear picture. For example, when ballots are set aside because of a dating issue, there is a category called incorrect, and that might be that the voter inserted their birthday. And these designs that the Department of State undertook with civic design leaders and others are really intended to minimize opportunities for voters to make those mistakes. So it clearly states to put in today's date, the date when the ballot is being completed by the voter. Clearly says to sign it and all the rest. The redesign is, I think, we've received a lot of positive feedback on it, and I'm confident will result in fewer voters making unintentional minor errors that are, however, defective in nature. Voting by mail, and I just want to stress this, is not complicated. The instructions are very clear. Voters have a lot going on in the course of a day, so you do see mistakes or issues where a voter fails to sign it or date it. But the department has taken, I think, a very important step in making all that process, from the instructions to the design, as user-friendly as possible.
Do you have a sense of the scope of it? I mean, there were 10,000, I think, mail-in ballots disqualified, more or less, in the federal litigation case. This would presumably be a smaller number than that, or do you know?
We wouldn't know that yet. Also, you'd also want to measure by percentage, presumably, because turnout, we don't know what turnout is going to be today, but it's most certainly not identical to what it would have been.
Is this something you plan to study and report about?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, the department is committed to making sure that every eligible voter can register to vote, and every registered voter can cast their vote and have their vote counted. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Ian. I'm with the Capital Star.
Hi.
Earlier today, my colleague reported that the Department of Justice was in Philadelphia, Luzerne County, and Berks County, presumably related to the elections. Can you give any more details about why that was?
I really don't have any details on that.
And do you mind if I ask another question?
I'm sorry, sir?
Do you mind if I ask another question?
No, please.
To the extent of your knowledge so far, have there been any issues in Northampton County specifically?
None that were in any way out of the ordinary in terms of polling places opening late or anything like that. There was none in any way similar to what we saw the last election or some elections ago.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.